Hey, welcome to the very first episode of A Fork in History. Today I'm actually going to be using a spoon and not a fork because I'm making a 19th century snow cream recipe. I'm pretty excited about this recipe because it does call for one unique ingredient that you don't really see in a lot of modern day snow cream recipes. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about snow cream history. So, as many of you may know, it is very popular here in the southern United States. It was something I would do as a kid. I would go out and leave a bowl to collect snow and bring it back in for my parents to make, and it was always a really fun and delicious treat. Unfortunately, where I live now, I'm even further down south. Whereas as a kid, there may be a 25-50% chance of snow if we're lucky. Where I'm at now, there's practically a 0% chance of snow throughout any of the winter months. But ironically, a couple of months back, we did get a historic once in a lifetime snow here, and it was really awesome. I did go out and collect some snow for some snow cream, and this probably won't happen again for another 100 years, but I hope it doesn't take that long again. This is kind of a side note. If you do decide to get snow one day to make snow cream, it's best to use it right away. I decided to put my snow in the freezer and I was just going to make it at a later day. Well, a couple of weeks later, I noticed that my snow was slowly shrinking for some reason. I thought I was going crazy. I didn't know what was going on because the power hadn't been turned off, the freezer was still working. Nothing like that was happening. So I didn't know why it was melting. Turns out it wasn't melting at all. I looked it up and it's this weird process called sublimation where the snow will basically evaporate inside the freezer. So just watch out for that. It's best to use it right away because it will slowly shrink into nothing if left in there for long enough. So, according to my research, snow cream has been around in the United States for several centuries now. It's hard to pinpoint an exact starting point because it seems like early on, not much was really documented or wrote down about it. It was mainly just passed down through oral tradition. And I had to look back a little further because I was wanting to see, okay, well, where did we get the idea for snow cream? Well, as it turns out, snow being used as a dessert goes way back. If you look back at 2000 BC China, they were using snow and mixing it with rice and milk. And then if you look at ancient Greece and Rome, you have stories of Roman emperors sending slaves into the mountains to collect fresh snow so they could then mix it with honey and other syrups. And then if you jump a little further, closer to home, over in Europe, they are mixing snow and making pretty much what we do over here in the southern United States. I found this one particular recipe for snow cream that was in a 1662 cookbook called The Queen's Closet Opened, and it's titled To Make Cream with Snow. And it says, take 3 pints of cream and the whites of 7 or 8 eggs and strain them together. Add a little rose water and as much sugar as will sweeten it. And then later on in the recipe, it does include the use of snow, actually using snow to fold into all these other ingredients that I just mentioned. And that's essentially how we make our snow cream over here. The snow, milk, cream, eggs, and then sugar. So it seems that's probably where we got the idea to make snow cream. The Europeans already had this pretty much going on, and then when they came over here, they just brought those recipes with them and it eventually got started over here. Now, I was also able to find a couple of newspaper articles from the late 19th, early 20th century that I am going to share with you that do mention snow cream because, like I said before, not much was documented or said about it, but this was about the earliest I could find where it was actually mentioned in newspapers. So this first one comes out of the Cameron County Press, and this was published on March 16th, 1899. I happened to be in the dining room of one of the large hotels the other day when a certain senator came in. Evidently, he was waiting for someone, and as he waited, he stood by the window looking out. The snow lay on the window ledge, white and feathery and soft. And seeing it, the senator smiled whimsically. Presently he turned and spoke to a waiter, And a moment later a saucer full of snow was brought to the table at which the great man had taken a seat. His face still wore its whimsical smile as he stirred sugar into the snow and poured cream over it. "It's 40 years and more," said he to me, "since I ate snow. Snow cream, we used to call it, fixed this way. Ice cream was something we didn't taste twice a year, and we used to make believe with snow." Here he laughed softly to himself. "Snow cream," he said, "snow cream. My. It's 40 years since I've tasted it. It makes me feel like a boy again. I think I'll leave an apple out tonight to freeze and scrape it tomorrow, the way we used to do when I was a boy. Snow cream. My, 40 years." I really love that one because anything that as an adult can bring you back to feeling like a kid, that's something to hold on to. Now, this next one comes out of the Rockingham Post-Dispatch, and this was published on December 20th, 1917. And it says, "Miss F.W. Leake was hostess to her bridge club at a most enjoyable meeting last week. Her house, always attractive, was unusually pretty on this occasion with greens and cut flowers. An hour or more was spent with the cards, the game then being called, and the hostess serving delicious chicken salad sandwiches with hot tea, followed by pretty bowls of snow cream. This was a treat to all, as it had been many years since the climate of this section would permit such a delicacy." Anyway, with that, I say we go ahead and get into the recipe we're making today, which comes out of a cookbook called Domestic Cookery by Elizabeth Ellicott, and this was published in 1869. And the recipe says, "Take the richest cream you can procure, season it with a few drops of essence of lemon or syrup of lemon peel, and powdered white sugar, and if you choose, a spoonful of preserve syrup, and just as you send it to the table, stir in light new-fallen snow till it is nearly as stiff as ice cream." So that special ingredient that I talked about at the beginning of the video, if you caught it, it was the essence of lemon. That's something that you don't really see being used today, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, anyways, enjoy. Alright, let's try this 19th century snow cream. Oh, that's so good. And that lemon extract, that really does come through nice. You can taste that lemony essence inside here, and it's a really good addition. If I were to make this again, I would probably add just a tad bit more sugar, just make it a little bit sweeter. But man, this is really good. Anyways, guys, thanks for tagging along. See you next time.